I'm Joni Brennan, President of the Digital Identity and Authentication Council of Canada, and today we'll talk about digital identity as a driver for Canadian inclusion and economic prosperity. We'll also talk about how your organization can amplify your impact by joining DIACC to advance a benefits for all framework for digital identity. Let's get started. First, we'll look at the economics. And by working together between a collaboration of the public and private sectors to solve digital identity challenges and opportunities, we can realize an additional 3 to 6% of GDP. That's a massive gain to the public and private sectors to position Canadians for success. But unfortunately today, digital identity is broken. And it can take $236 per user per incident to manage user ID and password issues. And it can take up to 600 hours and a loss of $16,000 in income for those who have had their identity stolen or experienced fraud in some way. And it can take around 173 days for a company to recognize that they have had a breach and another 60 days to contain it, all at a loss of around $5 million per organization. We need to fix this. And first, we also have to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. And let's face it, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives and has only highlighted the urgent need for Canada to become a nation of digital identity, to secure our socio-economic safety net and enable Canadians to work remotely and to transact remotely to get their life business done, even during a crisis. And what it will take to get there is a strong collaboration and leadership between Canada's public and private sectors to secure Canada's economic and societal success. Now, what this looks like is that Canadians need to know about what data exists about them in different systems. And Canadian governments, citizens, and businesses need tools to manage appropriate sharing of that data. And governments and businesses as well can start to issue digital evidence of identity. They can also provide services and context through technology and solutions that will change and improve people's lives. But we wanted to check what Canadians think about digital identity. So we did a coast to coast to coast survey. And what we found was that overwhelmingly 70% of Canadians felt that the best way forward was through a collaboration of the public and private sectors to deliver a pan-Canadian identity framework. Canadians overwhelmingly thought that the checks and balances provided by the public and private sector working together would provide just the right mix for a user-centered design that worked for them. So how we'll achieve this is with one tool that is known as the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework. And the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework is a framework that has been developed through a collaboration. It's one framework with many partners. And security, efficiency, and societal and economic benefits are truly the foundations of the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework. With a multi-sectorial collaboration led by the DIACC and with Pan-Canadian and international input, the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework is helping to connect and enable Canada's digital economy from coast to coast to coast. It's developed to secure cross-sector interoperability between the public and private sectors, as well as many industry sectors and verticals. Our work program and drafts are available at DIACC, DIACC.ca, where you can find the latest drafts and send us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. So what the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework looks like is a selection of components that include a description of the model, some glossary of terms that we'll use consistently, how the assessments will work, and then the framework digs into particular functionalities around authentication, notice and consent, how to verify a person, how to verify an organization, and then what do those relationships look like between people and businesses? And then finally, how are those technologies and policies deployed with technology and operations? And last but absolutely not least, embedded into each one of those components is privacy. So the framework has to enable a privacy by design and privacy enhancing approach to solving digital identity. This work is developed through public and private sector collaboration, and it's free for all to access and to implement. How this looks in terms of a model is that we'll have data requesters and data verifiers. And Of course, what's in the middle here is you, and you need to be in control of what information is shared about you and for what purpose. So choice, consent, control of identity information is what the Pan-Canadian Trust Framework is all about. So that brings us to the DIACC. DIACC was created as a not-for-profit organization that is created as a result of Canada's Electronic Payments Task Force. And this task force recommended that Canada needed a self-governing body to bring the public and private sectors together to deliver a user-centered digital identity and authentication interoperability framework. So that's how we were created as the DIACC. We're a non-for-profit coalition driven by members of the public and private sector who all believe in the vision. So what do these members look like? We have different orders of government across Canada, from federal to provincial, as well as major institutions, financial, insurance, and telecommunications, and technology and services and solutions providers from Canada and from all around the world. And we've come together to accelerate, develop, publish, raise, and create opportunities for Canadians to ensure that we have full and beneficial participation in the global digital economy. If you'd like to learn more about the work that we're doing, you can scan this handy infographic or visit our papers and projects page on DIACC.ca to learn more. So what is the member experience exactly like? Well, members come together to meet the urgency of the demand around digital identity. They leverage our network to connect with high-level executives and influencers from around Canada and from around the world. They amplify their opportunities, and they connect to move the identity space forward through virtual meetups and hopefully in the future, when it's safe again, in-person events. We work through 3 committees, including the Trust Framework Committee, focused on delivering the Trust Framework, the Innovation Committee that focuses on innovation and adoption. These are fast learning projects that test viability and deliver insights to DIACC members as well as to the general public. And finally, through our Outreach Committee that helps to create narratives that tell the identity story to decision makers ranging from members of parliament, senators, to CIOs and journalists and more. So we're here to connect those stories so that decision makers can be informed to make better decisions about where and how to invest and deploy digital identity. So if you'd like to learn more about our organization, how you can join, how we can collaborate or get involved to move the space forward, please feel free to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. So join the conversation and work with us to build trust together. Thank you.